I paid a dog trainer to help me with him, and she arrived and was very honest, saying that his behavior was deeply ingrained and that chances are he'd get worse before he got better. At this point, I admitted defeat. I got in touch with the rescue who collected him, but they wouldn't let my daughter say goodbye and made out that he was fine before we got him. I really worked hard to get Dave to trust, but I feel like I've let him down because another human has let him down. It makes me so sad, but I also see that my goal has been to let go of all responsibilities I feel I have, and Dave was a big one. I only had him for 3 weeks, but I got him to trust me being there. He was such a lovely dog, but was very guarded. So with the release is a lot of guilt and sadness. Plus, I feel like he's gone to people with no basic empathy for how we feel. It just feels icky how he left. I get that. Rule number one on ickiness. And this is something that we've been discussing here. By the way, as you probably know, I'm in the middle right now of the Quantum Mastery Retreat here at the Oasis. So we have a bunch of incredible and wonderful loving human beings that have, we're currently on day 4, and we've been doing all sorts of amazing things. I might share some of those with you at a little bit of a debrief at a surface level at some point. And they're actually here in the room. I invited them in. They're in my broadcast room, my office right now, sitting the other side of the camera, all smiling. They're all smiling. Yeah, they're all smiling. Good. On there, you're being waved at, guys. Yeah. And I invited them to come in and see what a live Q&A session is like. Now, some of them are EMF 49, so they're getting a bit of an insight into wondering, what the hell is an archetype, right? And I didn't know we were signing up for a magic course, right? Not that kind of magician. Anyway, so when it comes to understanding that, there are times you can feel icky. Whenever something hooks you, we talked about this in module 4, right? When something hooks you, you feel icky. The first thing you have to do is wake up. It's there to get your attention. It's there to point you in a direction to say, where's the lesson here? What am I here to learn? What am I not noticing right now? Now, Charlene, you actually articulate it very well in terms of letting go of guilt or feeling guilty about what happened, and it just doesn't feel that great in terms of how it left. How it left would have happened to have been the perfect way for whatever lesson is being delivered. Right? Own that for a start. Even if you can't find out what that lesson is yet, don't worry. However, when it comes to dogs, and we've got, I see Alicia, I see you're here as well. I see the question you've got about your 7-year-old later. I think that's the last question. We'll get into that. So I'm infinitely more qualified to talk about dogs than 7-year-olds, but there are some common overlaps. So at a certain level, dogs obviously can be very guarded. And I believe that when it comes to the right home, it will find them. Now, the right home at the right time is not your responsibility. You played a role as a stepping stone in what was required at that time. And what may have happened, and I honestly believe this, is that you took that dog, which means that, let's say a week later, you had it for 3 weeks. A week later, the person that would have took the dog, that would have probably exasperated that, treated it like crap, kept it outside, was resentful because they'd promised their partner they were finally going to get a dog, but they don't like dogs, so it was going to live outside in a cage and just get further ill-treated. You may have played the perfect role in being able to bring that dog out of that environment while that person then couldn't find the dog. You follow? You were there at the perfect time for Dave in the perfect way. You don't get to decide that because you're not Dave in Dave's movie. However, you did with the best intention what you could, and that is definitely going to have an impact. All you need to do is to send love and let go of your need to have the movie of Dave fit your pictures in your movie. So, and if they didn't let your daughters see them or say goodbye, again, if you live in a friendly universe and everything is going according to plan, what if the last minute when Dave reacted to the handler that knew where he was going back to and wasn't happy about it in the moment, and the daughter went to rush in and say goodbye, and Dave would have snapped and put his teeth down the cheek. You don't know that. But you have to appreciate everything's going according to plan. Send love is the best thing you can do. But let go of any responsibility you have for forcing the outcome as to how you think it should be. And obviously, this only applies to Dave, and Charlene, and nobody else. Again, one of the things we're doing here is one of the things we focused a lot on day one, where we're creating an empowering context. Because can you go back and change how Dave left? Yes or no? Of course not. So what is guilt? Guilt is I did something wrong and I can't change it, therefore I'm going to stay permanently upset and unhappy and beat myself up. How does that work? What kind of movie are you going to bring into your experience with that kind of thinking? So creating an empowering context. Did I do the best I could for that dog? Yes. All right, pat yourself on the back. Just because you didn't get the outcome that, you try to reward yourself by thinking I'm only good enough, if Dave suddenly becomes the best family pet in the world after X amount of months of abuse, right? Wrong rules, wrong criteria. And some of you have the same deal with the people that you know.